problem. I'll take it. I love it. It's a 5-minute song. I would play the whole thing, but I know we have so much to get into today. So, welcome to day two. We are so excited to have you. Let me just go ahead and okay all the AIs and the recording and all of that. All right, I think we are good. I want to hear what your biggest takeaway was from yesterday. We have so much to cover today. We're going to have so many beautiful awarenesses, ahas, teaching. But I want to hear in the chat, what was your biggest shift, your biggest awareness, your biggest takeaway? I know there's an abundance of teaching, right? And we're going to keep diving in to even more today that we did not get to speak to yesterday. So get ready for a really powerful day. But what shifted? What changed? What was your awareness? What was your aha? I'm seeing Janice saying yes to more money. Yes. That is another that's another Tony Jones song. We love her. We play her music a lot in our community. Let me see here. Shanna, huge perspective shift on credit cards. Thank you, bank, for trusting me. Do you feel the difference in your energy with that, right? It's like it's so much easier. And when we're not in resistance to it, the money flows. So that's actually really, really important when we release resistance around and just drop judgment, whether it's judgment on a credit card, a loan, whatever it is, we step into the receiving mode. So powerful. Who else? Perla, I love and appreciate money for the beautiful, magical life it allows me to have. So if you had a relationship with someone and you said, I love and appreciate you for the beautiful, magical life you allow me to create, you think they'd want to come around you a lot more? They'd want to hang? Like, would that be a really great, healthy relationship? Yes, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. That's awesome. Let's see what else. Rebecca, I'm continuing to work on my money story and limiting beliefs I have about being successful. You're in the right place. So, yes, it's always just noticing whether it's something about money or something about else, if or something else, what stories are you telling yourself, right? Are you telling yourself this is hard? Are you telling yourself you're not meant to be abundant? Whatever. It's all the stories you tell yourself and just becoming aware of that. Because we run these stories on autopilot and we don't stop to question it, And it's, again, question everything. I want you all to start questioning everything. Jody, viewing money as a flow in and circulation versus stagnant. Exactly. Exactly. Karen, the desires of the green lights. Yes. Being in receiving mode, you might open up a new way for those funds to come in. Yes. Who here in the community has had money come in a way you did not expect when you opened up to have money come in? Right. And a lot of times we have members of our community who are, ambitious, goal oriented, like they would classify as like hardworking, all of that. And they have a belief that the only way they can receive money is through their job or through their company. That is one way. But if we have that belief, we shut ourselves off to all the other ways. I shared with the members of one of my groups a little while back that I used to have that belief. And so I hear about people getting like unexpected refund checks and checks in the mail. And I'd be like, oh, that would be nice, right? But my belief didn't support it that I would get it. So I never had it. And even just it was like a couple of weeks ago or maybe a month ago, I had like an unexpected $13,000 check in the mail for an overpayment on something. And it was so fun. I was just like, oh, yes, I receive, right? So when you open up and you're available for all different channels to come in to flow money, then you'll receive it in different ways. We've had people manifest and create money through unexpected refunds, through partners, certainly through growth in their business as well. But if you open up to receiving in all the ways, you will be very impressed at how it wants to come to you. The way that I think about it, with money is it's like it wants so much to be there in your life. It wants so much to support you. It wants so much to be part of your life. And it's really about opening up to receive, right? So what mindset, what beliefs, who would I need to embody to be open to receive that? Let me see the other Debbie, dear money, let's have a blast together. Yeah, I love that. If you can turn on your camera, we want to see your beautiful faces. It's always so much more fun to be able to see you and engage and interact. So thank you for everyone who can be on camera for popping on. But this is so good. This is so powerful. I actually want to start us off with let me find this quote here. Hold on, where is it? I was on a call this morning with Brandon, who is our coach for the men's mastermind, and Laura, who is our director of operations and program manager. She leads up our corporate sales calls. And we were just talking about a lot of stuff. We are planning out some really great stuff for all of you and for our clients. And Brandon shared this quote from Neville Goddard. Who in here is a Neville Goddard reader, follower? We were studying him this morning in the mastermind for those of you in 50K Club, right? So we love, love, love Neville Goddard. If you're not familiar with him, he is probably one of the best known like New Thought leaders from the 1900s. And he wrote a lot of beautiful books. Power of Awareness is the one that we've been reading out of now. But Brandon shared this quote that I thought was so fitting for today and so appropriate for today as well by Neville. And apparently this actually came to him through his wife, which is also kind of fun. Obviously, we love women and supporting women in here. So this came through his wife. But what it says is Neville Goddard is known for saying, everything in life must be an investment. He believed that people should stop spending their time, money, and thoughts and instead invest them. Goddard defined spending as wasting or squandering, and investing as putting something out for a purpose with the expectation of a profit. So I want you to just think about this right now. We talked yesterday, because this is actually so much bigger than even money, right? But we spoke yesterday about circulating money and the difference when you blow money out or when you quote unquote spend money and you don't expect it to come back or you don't have any intentionality around it coming back versus when you're in the energy of circulation and whatever it is that you're flowing money towards, whether it's an investment in yourself, in coaching, in masterminds, if it's a home, if it's a new wardrobe, right? You say, I do this with the intention that this is flowing back to me multiplied. And now what I love too about this quote from Neville is to notice, am I spending my thoughts or am I investing my thoughts? This is a really big shift. So what does it look like to spend your thoughts? Right? So we know when we study the power of the mind, we study the power of the brain, we know that our thoughts they send out the electrical charge in the electromagnetic field that signals what it is that who you are, what you're available for, what you want, right? So there is power. There is such creative power to your thoughts. Every thought, you're also programming your subconscious, you're programming your identity, your belief. So if we spend our thoughts, what does that look like? Spending time in limiting beliefs and self-doubt, thinking, who am I to have this? I'm not worthy of it, right? Questioning ourselves. That to me is spending your thoughts. But what if you shifted into investing your thoughts? What would that look like? Someone even type it in the chat. What would investing your thoughts look like? I want to see what y'all think about this. Or you can even come off mute and share. It's always fun for me to come off mute. Affirmations, thinking on purpose. Yeah. Debbie, I saw your hand raised. So do you want to come off mute?
Would it be kind of like knowing that your thoughts move through you, that they're energy, that they're not meant for you to attach to, they're meant to show you more about life? I'm asking. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love that. To me, that feels like non-attachment to thoughts, which is a powerful, just like observing, right? Rather than getting emotionally caught up, which is really powerful. Um, when I think about investing thoughts, it's about asking yourself in any situation, what is the best belief I could have for myself right now? Right. So let's say you're about to invest in yourself or you're making a move or you're launching a company, right? What is the best belief I could have for myself right now? What would be most supportive? And then that's the thought that you choose to think because you do have control. You do have conscious control. Let's see what's coming in here in the chat. Confident decisions, Karen, follow my intuition, thinking on purpose. Yes. What is next? Yep. I love it. So always thinking bigger, right? Camilla. Shanna, intentional decisions. My thoughts just increased in value to me. Yeah, Jody, they are powerful. And just to even become aware of what you're telling yourself, of the stories you're telling yourself, that is part of the power of, I spoke yesterday about a tool we use with our clients when they come into our community in 10K Club or 50K Club. And we call it new personality, old personality. So one of the first things we have you do is start writing down what are all the thoughts that you've been thinking that you would not be thinking at your end result. So you start to become aware, because a lot of times we're thinking these thoughts and we're not even aware. So what are the thoughts I'm thinking on autopilot? I'm just going to throw out examples. Who's going to buy from me? Who's going to want this? They're going to judge me when I put it out there. I don't have enough, right? Just notice, and you start to actually write those down. And those are, I had someone on my podcast a few years ago. I loved what she called them. She called them your frequent flyers. Your frequent flyers that just are flying around in your brain all day long, and you're not even noticing it. You're not even questioning it. And again, if you don't stop and question it, if you don't stop and notice it, they will continue to program your mind as your reality, and you will have that experience. There's not enough. People don't want to buy from me, etc. So then we look at, so that's old personality. We just want to become aware of what are the thoughts I'm thinking, and is this serving me? Is this going to get me to where I want to go? And then new personality, we look at for the version of me who's where I want to be, who's having the experience I want to have. Maybe it's you want your business or your sales to be doing 6 figures, multi 6, 7, multi 7, a billion, beyond, whatever it is. You want a beautiful home life. You want vibrant health. You want impact in the world. What are the thoughts of someone from that place, right? What are their thoughts? Probably things like, wow, look at how amazing my life is. Gosh, look at all this money flowing in. Wow, how can I serve more people? What am I going to do with all this money? Right. So you start noticing that and you write those down. And then the key is you notice throughout the day, when did I go back? When am I thinking a thought from the old version of me? And you start reaffirming, right? And playing with the new thought, the new personality. Now it's bigger than that, because we also want to incorporate emotionalizing, reprogramming the nervous system, different types of actions as well. That's all part of embodiment of stepping into the new personality. But like we said yesterday, your results will never supersede your identity. So you want to step into a life where you're experiencing money and abundance at a different level than you've ever experienced. It starts with your level of consciousness. It starts with building the identity of someone where that is natural and normal to flow whatever amount you want to have flowing every day, every month, to be as visible as you want to be the world leader you want to be, etc. So Brandon, thank you for sharing that quote. The universe always gives me like, this is what you should say to start it off with. And actually, we did another event where the quote came through you. I was looking at that this morning. So you have been the channel, the conduit for good kickoff quotes for us for a while. So I love it. Carolina, investing in my thoughts is leaning into who I am and not focusing on what I should be. Ooh, I love that. Acknowledging that I am aligned. Yes, yes, yes. That is so powerful. Okay. Today, what I want to do is I want to do a little bit more teaching on embodying abundance. I want to speak to how money comes to you as well. So if anyone is like, oh, I would love to do this. I would love to buy a new home. I would love to travel a certain way. I would love to invest in myself a certain way. We're going to talk about how do you actually get the money to come to you? Would that be helpful? Would you all like that? Do we want to know? To me, that's one of the most fun parts. We're going to do 2 spotlight interviews with members of our community who really embody this work. And I'm so excited to just to share their brilliance and their experience with all of you. So to me, that's always so fun. We will do a guided visualization, which will be really powerful. We will speak to the programs and opportunities. We've had people questioning and texting like, hey, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? What's this program like? So I'll speak to that more today too. And we'll talk about some bonuses we're doing this month as well, how to get involved if you want to go deeper in your work with us. And then I think we'll also have some good time for Q&A and coaching. So we're going to have fun today. Does that sound good? Are we excited? Do we want to roll? Amazing. And then again, if my amazing team, if you all can just kind of keep an eye on the waiting rooms. I know we've got people popping in and out as we go here. But let's start with embodying abundance, right? I was texting with someone who's a newer private client the other day, and he was talking about desiring a level of peace with money, right? And what we spoke about in that conversation is that the actual shift happens when you no longer think about abundance as anything outside of you, but you start to see yourself as abundance, as abundance. I'm going to tell the Joe Dispenza story. For those of you who have heard it before, it's going to resonate. For those of you who haven't heard it before, I want you to really listen. Okay. So there's a story Dr. Joe Dispenza tells about being in New York City for a workshop for an event. And he goes to lunch with someone who is a friend of his. And he's like a banker on Wall Street, like very, very wealthy guy. They sit down at lunch, they order their hamburgers, the food comes, and Dr. Joe's like, so what's going on? What's happening in your world? And his friend takes a bite of his hamburger, looks at him, and says, well, today I lost everything I own. Takes another bite. And Joe's sitting there and he's like, are you okay? Are you all right? Because the guy seems completely unfazed. He's like, aren't you worried? And the guy looks at him like he's crazy. And he says, what are you talking about? He says, I am abundance. I'll have it all back within 2 weeks. Now tell me about you. So I want you to think about you. Now you could say, oh, he said he was abundance because he was wealthy before by most people's standards. He was wealthy because he said he was abundance. Are you all with me? So it is that belief system. It is that embodiment. It is that knowing that you are abundance. And from that place, because the physical world, your bank account is always just going to mirror to you who you're thinking you're being, right? And what your beliefs are, what your self-concept is. From that place, you will manifest all the money you can imagine and more and more. But what would it be like for you to shift into that knowing that I am abundance, right? And that abundance is something that I generate from the inside out. So you start to look at qualities of abundant people, right? People you would consider abundant. And you start to study them. And we spoke about this some yesterday when I was sharing some of my top learnings over the past 4 years. Things like, when you are abundance, all of your needs are met and more. All you want to do is give. I mean, that's really it. So where in your life are you holding back from giving? Now, this doesn't just have to be money, right? This can be your energy. This can be your intention. Neil Donald Walsh has this beautiful quote, something to the effect of, if you want the best the world has to offer, you have to give the world your best. Yeah. So how many of you in here, you say, I want the best the world has to offer? I know I want that. If you're driving, don't raise your hand. I see Cindy still. She's like, I'll raise my hand. I love it. That's dedication. Claiming it no matter what. So then you start to ask questions like, well, what would it look like for me to give the world my best? And that's in every single situation. That's on your social media, whether you currently have a love-hate relationship with it or not. Do you give your best? Do you pour your heart and soul in for your clients, right? I'm not talking about overgiving. I'm not talking about martyr. I'm not talking about sacrificing. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, what's the energy in which you approach your work and your company? And are you building, Debbie, even in the mastermind chat? I know you had put this recently about building from love, right? And approaching your business from a place of love. Are you bringing that into everything you're doing? Are you bringing that, and not just in business too? This is home, this is health, right? But so from a place of being abundance, where all of your needs are met and more, all you want to do from that place is give because you know you're tapped into the source of unlimited supply. So where, team, if we can just make sure everyone is muted. So where can you give, right? Where can you give more of who you are, your gifts, your talents, your uniqueness, right? Um, and then one of the other things too about abundant people is abundant people look for opportunities. So this is really important. So they're not just about, okay, how can I go get like the stack of money, right? Because again, money is the how, but they understand, how does money come to us? Well, a lot of it is through opportunities. How can I be of service? How can I give my gifts and talents? So abundant people know to look for and look to manifest incredible opportunities, right? So you start to tap in more to your zone of genius. You start to tap in more to, where am I lit up when I'm in service? Like for me, probably my favorite thing, I have a lot of favorite things, but I love being on stages. I love speaking. I love serving. I love pouring into, coming in as like a guest speaker in other people's groups and audiences and being able to serve. So to me, the opportunities, there's a lot of opportunities that light me up, but I consciously manifest opportunities like that when I'm ready to go to another level. I know the money comes on the back end, but I'm not just focused on, hey, how can I like attract X amount of money? I know that that's coming. I always have a goal, but I focus on what's the type of opportunities I would love to call in. And it's always in the energy of this or something better where I can be of greatest service, where it's a double blessing for everyone. So what is that for you? Right? Maybe for you, it is sharing your gifts and talents in front of groups of other people. Maybe it's something else. There's so many different ways that money can flow to us, right? Partnerships, platforms, all of that. But if you study and work to embody abundant people, they look for amazing opportunities. And then I think the other piece of being abundance, we spoke about this a little bit towards the end of the day yesterday, but abundance is the natural state of the world. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that everyone is living in this reality, but if you look at the world and how it is designed, and there's a field called biomimicry where we can actually model our lives. And I love doing this. I love modeling my business off of how do things work in nature. So if you study nature, everything in nature is abundant, right? You try to count the leaves on a tree. You come hang with me in Maine in the winter, you try to count the snowflakes, you'll you'll lose steam real fast. You try to count the drops of water in the ocean. We live in abundance. Abundance is your natural state. It is the natural state of the world. And so, like I said yesterday, sometimes we've just forgotten. Sometimes you've stopped noticing that in your life. But so look for where all the abundance already exists in your life, right? Maybe you're driving right now and you're like, there's an abundance of cars. Maybe you're, oh my gosh, I don't know, you're looking out your window and you're like, there's abundance of blades of grass outside in my yard. There's an abundance of fall leaves, right? Whatever it is. But you start to tap into that and you say, how can I connect with that feeling of abundance now? And if money feels tricky to feel abundance around now, you go to something else. Abundance of, excuse me, one second. Where do you have abundance in your life now, right? Abundance of friends, abundance of opportunities, abundance of, I don't know, mail to go through in your mail pile, right? But you tap into, what is that feeling state of abundance? And then you can start to play with that in the realm of money. You kind of overlay it on the realm of money. Does that make sense? Are you all with me? Do we have questions on this? If you have questions on it, type it in the chat. Like I said, we'll do our best to have some time for Q&A at the end of the day too. But so we want to tune into the energy of abundance in whatever ways you can. And then we start to connect it with money. We start to connect the dots. The final piece I want to speak to before we do some really cool interviews is how money comes to you. Now, this is key, and this is something I have learned through a lot of trial and error over the years, I would say. A lot of times when I would put a certain amount of money on my vision board and I would look at it and I'd be like, okay, I'm looking at it. I'm affirming it. Where is it? Has anyone ever had that happen? And it just wouldn't come. And I'd be like, okay, this stuff is crap. Like anyone who's just looking at their vision board and manifesting money, I'd be like, I don't get it. It's not working for me. That's not how you do it. That's not how you do it. So one of the things we spoke to yesterday is energetically, money wants to serve your expansion and your fuller expression. All right. So if you think about it that way and you start to think about in what ways am I desiring to expand right now? In what ways am I desiring to more fully express? Maybe it's that you want to move into a new home that's double or triple the size or the cost of the one you're in right now, right? That's an expansion of you. You're taking up more space. Oh my gosh, Frank, your baby. I'm sorry. I'm just having a moment. That was so sweet. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I love babies on calls. So maybe you want to expand that way. Maybe you want to hire a new team member, right? Maybe you want to go on a trip that's gonna, and I'm not, there's a lot of different ways we can expand. Maybe you want to elevate your wardrobe. Maybe you want to invest in yourself in coaching, right? Whatever it is, money is designed at a spiritual level, at an energetic level to serve your expansion and your fuller expression. Now, here's the key is people will look at something they want to do, an investment they want to make, and they don't see the money in the bank account today. And what do they say? They're like, oh, I can't do it. Money's not there, right? And what are we doing in that moment? We're letting money be the master, right? And we are letting it dictate what choices we make. You never need the money up front for what you want to do. Money comes to you after you make a committed decision to do something. So I shared with all of you a little bit yesterday my first quantum leap story, and knowing I wanted to invest in myself in coaching in a way that felt wildly uncomfortable and I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money. And if I had said, well, that means I can't do it, I would have never launched my company. We wouldn't be here today, right? But so what did I do? Here's what I know. When we make a decision, your must will move mountains. And when something is a must for you, you will always find a way. So I said, I'm not going to give too much energy to appearances right now, because appearances would have said, this is a bad idea. What are you doing? This money isn't in the bank, blah, 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 right? I trusted my knowing. I said, I know I need to do this for a number of reasons, get out of my comfort zone, to learn how to think in an elevated level, to get myself in an environment that's going to support my goals, etc. From the point of decision, the idea came, oh, I have a credit card that I think, even though it still feels uncomfortable to put that amount on a credit card for me with my level of thinking back then, I think I could put the deposit on a credit card. I don't have the full amount yet, but I think I could put the deposit on the credit card. Okay. Law of sufficiency and abundance. This is a universal law about money. You will always have what you need to take the next step towards what you want. When you are stretching, when you are growing, when you are expanding, it is rare that the how will be easy. It is rare that you'll just have the full amount for whatever you need sitting there in the bank, that it'll be easy peasy, because from that place, you're not really stretching or growing, right? If we're being honest, like I've invested in plenty of programs where the investment was honestly so easy, I didn't take it seriously. And it's on me, but I didn't really use it. And so I didn't really get much from it. I know the times I've grown the most in my life have been times when I got really uncomfortable. And how many of you can relate to that? You got way out of your comfort zone. You really grew. That's how it works. So the law of sufficiency and abundance states that for whatever it is that you desire, you will have what you need to at least take the next step. Now, that could be You can figure out how to put something on a credit card for whatever it is that you want, right? For a deposit. You have a contact you can go to ask for a loan. You can sell something, right? But the key here is when I say committed decision, I am not saying that you say, oh, well, when the money comes, I'll do it. That's not a committed decision. A committed decision is I am doing something. I'm putting something on the line today. I'm taking the action now. I'm burning the ship, so to speak. So from this place, there is actually no choice but for it to work, right? This is how we quantum leap. And the way it actually works from a neuroscience standpoint, from a brain standpoint, is your subconscious, the way that you're, and again, we spoke yesterday about the job of your subconscious is to make whatever your belief systems are, whatever your decisions are about life and how it works for you, to make that a reality. The subconscious is also designed to conserve energy. So it will give you ideas for how to manifest your goals, but it will not do it unless it has a strong enough command and a prompt of this is happening, right? Do you ever hear about people who have seemingly miraculous health transformations, right? Where it's like they struggled with something overnight, or maybe someone who's been a smoker their whole life. They get a diagnosis of lung cancer. It was so hard for them to stop up until then, but boom, right after that diagnosis, they stop cold turkey. Why? Because they had a strong enough decision in that moment that the brain said, okay, I get the memo, right? We're changing. So committed decision is the key. You have to decide I'm buying the house. You have to decide I'm growing my team. You have to decide I'm investing in myself. And from that place, we take some sort of an action, some sort of a next step where we show our mind, our subconscious, the universe, this is a non-negotiable. And then from that place, your brain will give you ideas. Your subconscious will give you ideas for how to get how to accomplish the next piece, right? How to get the rest of the money for what you need, how to collect the resources for what you need. It's an amazing, beautiful tool. There's a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz, where he speaks more about the science behind this. So it's a great resource for any of you who want to dive into it. But your brain will give you the next steps to take in any situation, but you have to first make that committed decision. The how comes after. Are you all with me? That is it. So the how of anything that you want is simply to decide. That's it. That's the power. So the choices that you make have nothing to do with what's in the bank right now, right? Your bank account is old news, just like we spoke about yesterday with Shanna's question. It's a reflection of how you were thinking, feeling, and operating in the past. It's old news. It will only continue to repeat the same way day after day if you keep giving it attention and you keep emotionalizing it and giving it energy. So we want to move our attention. We're actually speaking about this on the mastermind call today for those of you who were here. We want to move our attention from anything that is in our lives that is not how we would love, right? I'm not saying you don't deal with circumstance, like you got bills to pay, you got things to do. So we don't put our heads in the sand, but we stop energetically giving things power because we remember that it's old news. All right. And we start to focus instead on what we would love. Right. So you can say something like, I'm observing in my 3D world is that the money, I'm not observing the money in the bank yet, but I know that it's still there. I know that it exists. I know that it's just a matter of me connecting with it. I know that it's on its way. And then from that place, we take an action, right? To move it towards us. So you will always have what you need to take the next step. But when you're quantum leaping, when you're ascending, you'll never see the full picture, right? You won't see it until it's done. It's kind of like the great Steve Jobs quote, you'll only connect the dots looking backwards. So if we think we need to see the full how before we can get started on something, before we can take action on something, absolutely not. I always look for what's the next step. I feel like I'm in a continuous quantum leap in my life because I love this and I enjoy it and it's fun. What's the next right step I can take with what I have, right? And that's it. That is it. let's see here. Great results come from a peaceful commitment, not from a freaked out lunatic mindset. Frequency matters most. Yeah, it's not nothing lunatic about it, right? But there's a knowingness. Like I remember when I made that investment in myself, the freak out was my analytical mind telling me, what are you doing? This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. That was the freak out. But my inner knowing, the calm quiet was yes, right? Move forward on this. So one of the things that I teach in our community and that I do in my own life is when I have a choice for something, if it's feeling uncomfortable, if it's feeling a little stretchy, just asking, what would I do if I had perfect faith? That will always give you your truth. So you can say, what would I do if I took money out of it? You can also say, what would I do if I had perfect faith? And that's going to give you your right choice. And then the key is to do that, right? Because nothing changes until you start taking action as a different version of you. We can say all day long, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am prosperous, but you don't start taking the actions you would take from that result, it's not going to change. All right. So there's so much power in committed decision. And even just to kind of like close the loop on my own story, when I was investing in myself, I think it was like a $20,000 deposit I had to figure out. So did that, figured out how to put that on a credit card. And then I didn't know how I was going to pay for the rest. And the payment plan was coming due in like 3 weeks. But it was from that place. And this was working with my mentor, working with Mastermind Group. The idea came, launch this program, which is actually now our 10K club, to take this action. And it was very stretchy and uncomfortable to launch it. You know, I had limiting beliefs of, is a whole group of women going to want to work with me? Like I was like, are you sure? I've never done something in a group before. Like truly lots of limiting beliefs around it. Put myself out there in really uncomfortable ways on social media, invited people to a masterclass, all of that. And it was all very stretchy and uncomfortable. But within a few weeks of rolling out that idea, over 6 figures came in. That money would not have come if I had said, I'm going to wait to do this thing I'm feeling intuitively guided to do until the money is here. It didn't have a purpose. There was no reason. I was waiting. Does that make sense? So with that, that is how money comes, right? You remember energetically, spiritually, it wants to help you expand. You make a committed decision. You take an action. From there, the rest comes. From there, the next step is revealed. Brandon is saying you put your bucket out. Yeah, I've never said it that way, but that's good. I love that. Um, okay, I want to do some spotlight interviews. Uh, Karen, I would love to feature you first. And this is so fun. Um, Karen is, and I'll let her kind of share her story, but she is such a bright light in the world. She's been in our community well, you've been in our community longer, but you've been in our programs in 10K for about a year now. And seeing your transformation and seeing you put yourself out there and seeing how you lead, not just for yourself, but for your daughter, for your family, and really just how you've grown and expanded has been so beautiful. So do you want to come off mute and introduce yourself and say hi and who you are and where you're coming in from?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen Nguyen. I am the owner of Parks to Paradise Travel. I pivoted from a 20-year career in human resources management into owning my own travel company in 2022. I was in a number of different HR roles. One of my HR roles was in a mining company. We had a catastrophic accident in a mining company where two individuals were trapped. They did make it out, but it was 7 hours of intense stress. And me being the HR person, I was point person for the families. I then moved into an HR leadership role with a credit union locally, and COVID hit. Um, we had a number of employees who we unfortunately lost during that time as well, due to COVID and being the primary people out there dealing with the public. And I really realized I was ready to prioritize myself in my HR career. And I thought that's what I was going to do. But I went on vacation about 3 weeks after I left my job. And I walked out of the hotel and I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. And I talked to my husband. He was like, well, let's try it. Let's throw together a business plan. So HR is a very selfless career. You give everything to help others succeed. And even though I was at the top of my field in my last role, it really was difficult to be silenced so much for the good of the company. And so being able to move forward into She Sells in the community really helped me break through the barriers of my mindset and also my business. I knew I had a ton of potential. I've heard it for years and years, but I was always kind of held back. And I found the She Sells community, much like I find a lot of different things, is I'm nosy and I get involved in a lot of different things just to see what's going on. So a group I was with in the travel industry, they recommended one of Elisa's free sessions, literally probably May 2022. And I was a silent lurker up until this time last year. And I took every single time she had a free course, I took that course. I was always there. But it wasn't until last year about this time that I finally realized I'm worth the investment to be the successful business owner I really want to be.
Yeah. Wow. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. And there's so much that I want to kind of unpack and share about your story and your journey. I'd love to hear from you. So, what have been some of the biggest things that you've seen shift in yourself over the past year since you said, I want to also just acknowledge you said, I am worthy. And that is actually the key. So sometimes people will look at our programs or investing in us that they're like, oh, is it worth it? No. And I'm like, that's the wrong question. It's, do you believe you're worth it? Because that's actually where the shift comes. That's really, really important. The programs will work if you work them, but you've got to ask yourself, am I worth it? So you made that declaration. You said, I am worthy of investing in. And what are some of the things that you're maybe most proud of or most excited for in the past year? And it could be inner shifts, it could be tangible results. But I'd love if you could speak a little bit to that.
Absolutely. The biggest shift, it's inside and outside. I definitely feel like I'm a different person altogether, but I stopped trying to control things. I am a little bit of a perfectionist and type A personality, and I like to control things, and it's letting go of the how. I don't try to control the how anymore whatsoever. So when I started my travel agency, I really wanted to book Disney trips. And while that's still near and dear to my heart, I've discovered that I really love working with people who need to disconnect from their business work life, embrace taking their PTO, and reconnect with the people in their lives that are most important to them. This past summer, I was so fortunate to land my most prominent client. He is a CEO of a large business, and he had 2 weeks. He needed to book his 25th anniversary vacation to St. Bart's, and lo and behold, that 2 weeks drove me to my first 10K revenue month ever. So it was amazing. And it was like you were just mentioning before, when you stop looking, things are going to come. And I was not looking for this gentleman at all. I've never been to St. Bart's. I have no idea about anything about it, but I figured it out and I got him there. And that shift in and of itself helped me believe in myself a lot more. So I used to carry a ton of self-doubt, a lot of fear around whether I deserved to be abundant. And honestly, I still do from time to time. That doesn't necessarily just go away right away. But now I am approaching everything with a bit more of a calm confidence, trusting myself, releasing the scarcity mindset. You have a section in She Sells 10K, Release the Resistance. And every single time I go for a walk, I throw on one of those episodes and I listen to it. And even if I've listened to it before, there's still something that I'm getting out of it. And the biggest thing is I've always had a strong gut instinct. But when I was in HR, that stopped because I really needed to focus on what was good for the company. And I have shifted now to following my gut instinct. It's impacting my business growth. It's given me more peace and balance in my personal life, and I feel more empowered than ever before.
Yeah.
I have ADHD, so the voices in my head really want me to go back and sit in that comfortable place where I know and feel safe. But now I am more excited than ever about being uncomfortable with
Mm.
whatever is coming to me. So,
Wow. Oh my gosh. I love this so much. You said something that is actually the underlying message of our brand. And I always tell people like sales is the Trojan horse. So we bring you in with sales. So we actually do help you make a lot more sales, a lot more money, but it's an inside out transformation, right? And we do strategy, we love strategy, but it really is um, the embodiment piece and the inner work we do that helps people quantum leap. You talked about trusting yourself. So the core message of our brand is to trust yourself. Because even just a show of hands, who in here kind of stopped doing that at some point? Like you grow up with a strong inner knowing, you feel clear on what you want. Even just watching our kids now, 4 and 1, like they know exactly what they want and they're very clear and very loud about it. And we all come into the world that way. And then over time, we stop trusting ourselves. And that was a lot of my journey too. And when we learn to trust ourselves again, our intuition, our instincts, our desires for more, stop making yourself wrong for it. It's incredible. Like the inner guidance that unfolds that's going to guide you to what you want. And to your point, Karen, like it's not linear, it's uncomfortable. It can be uncomfortable along the way because it has you stretch and grow, but it is the best gift you can ever give yourself. One other thing I want to speak to that you shared a little bit earlier in the story that's so fun is who in here who's on live would love to attract higher level clientele, like clients who pay you more, we all have those like dream clients, right? Who are really ideal. So you attract this CEO who gives he's like 2 weeks. I need this trip to St. Bart, right? You don't even, you're not trying necessarily, but what I know because of how this works is that you had to shift something in you first before you could be available to attract a client like that. So what can you look back at and see this shifted within me to be a match to receive this higher level client?
one of the biggest things that really shifted was stop listening to that voice that is like, what if it doesn't work? Can I really justify this? I have no idea about anything about St. Bart's. And it was me trusting in myself that I am a travel professional. I've always seen myself as an HR professional, and now I am a travel professional. And I feel that that mindset shift into believing that me as a small business owner, I'm going to succeed. I'm not going to go back. It's what has really helped me overcome those concerns, recognizing that the most important asset I have is me. If I'm
Mm.
not growing personally, my business is not going to grow. And I realized that investing in my personal and professional development isn't a luxury like I thought it was. It is a necessity. And my mindset work that I have done with you over the last 2 years, it really has reminded me that the most successful people in our community are those that continually invest in themselves. And that has helped me move forward with confidence, knowing that, yes, that payment is coming up, but something is going to come and help me out. And I literally got 35,000 this morning. So it's
Look at
like
you.
as soon as you let it go, it comes your way. So
Yes, yes. I love this so much. And I think just to kind of round it out on that final question, and I love your story. Congratulations. It's so beautiful. You really are such an inspiration. You're getting so much love in the chat too. But for you, so you went from kind of sitting on the sidelines, like taking the free things, right? To saying, I am worthy and investing in. And so for anyone who may be where you were previously, who's like, oh man, I would love to have a community like this. I would love to have support like this every single day, not just on these free events. How did you decide to invest in yourself, what has the shift been since you did? And what would you say to someone who's like, oh, my intuition is saying yes, maybe there's, fear thoughts showing up, but what would you say to someone about investing in themselves in these programs if it's speaking to them?
Something that I'm sure that probably resonates with a lot of us, that you have never felt you are worth the investment, but you are worth the investment. And once you realize that you are worth that, the whole world is going to open up to you. Growth requires stretching beyond your comfort zone, and that's where the magic happens. I tell people, I said it before, I tell people all the time, I am not the same person I was 3 years ago. I don't think the people I worked with in HR would recognize me anymore. I've gone through some major medical issues. I've changed my perspective on life, how I'm raising my daughters, and I'm constantly placing my hand on my heart, taking a deep breath just to embrace where I am. Last week, I was so incredibly blessed and fortunate to be on the Utopia of the Seas through Royal Caribbean for a guided tour of the ship for the entire week. We had continuing education classes, but the biggest one was we got a private tour of Coco Cay, and I was standing there in the adults only section, and I'm taking pictures, and I just downloaded all my pictures. I have a little over 500 pictures I took just from 2 hours. So, but it was looking out at the ocean, looking at the ships, and just, I'm going to cry. Yeah. Just being so grateful that this is what I get to do now. And I get to share this perspective with people. My business model is take your PTO. I feel like coming from HR, I've seen people bank that PTO till they have 500 hours in the bank because they think it's a great thing. It's not worth your mental health. You really need to understand that you're not going to have these moments of calm and gratefulness if you don't let yourself go and know that you are worthy of it. It's been, my life previously was so chaotic and so sad more often than not. The stress caused me to lose myself. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder in January 2022. And now I can't put a price on the confidence that I have, the clarity, the empowerment that I have that comes from this kind of transformation. So if you're on the fence, trust yourself and take that leap, and know that you're stepping into a community with women and men who are here with you every step, whether they're asking, you got a question about podcasts, you got a question about web pages, you got a question about lead magnets. Somebody here is here to support you the whole way.
Oh my gosh. You're just amazing. I love you.
Thank you.
We love
I love you.
It's what's so powerful about this work is you hear, so you hear the increased financial abundance, right, that Karen is experiencing. And that is so beautiful. And we love that. And we appreciate that. And to me, it's that inner shift. Like you talk about that transformation from that diagnosis in 2022 to today, feeling confident, empowered, embodied, like that is the actual gift. That's it. Because we always manifest from our identity, our self-concept of who we are. So you evolving in that way, and you doing the work, and you committing to yourself, and you showing up for yourself. It's just really, really powerful and beautiful. So well done. You're amazing. I know you're just like at the start of your quantum leap too. And I'm so excited to see what continues to manifest and unfold for you. But this is so beautiful. Thank you, Karen. You're awesome. Yeah. So good. Whew. All right. This is so fun. Like, man, we made it 3 hours today. No, we're going to be fine on time, but these stories are so powerful. I want to call up Christy Civilier. Do you want to come off mute and say hi?
Hi, Elise. How are you? Hi, everyone.
Amazing. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Oh,
Getting my Elise fill for today.
We have hung out a lot together. I mean, we often hang out a lot together.
I hung out with an hour and 15 minutes of you this morning on the treadmill and on my walk.
You were really getting your fill.
Yeah.
Christy is, I'll let her introduce herself, but she is also getting, is it okay to talk about what you're doing?
100%.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
She's getting certified as a consultant through us in our first consultant certification class as well. So it's really just fun because Christy and I only met earlier this year, but you have jumped in and dove in, and to see just your incredible growth in how you embody this material, and you are a true student of it. And the lives that you're already changing as well. It's just so beautiful. So if you want to just introduce yourself, who you are, where you're coming in from, let's start there.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Christy Civilier. I am honored to be here and to be in the energy of not only Elise, but the community. I'm in upstate New York, and I've been in corporate sales for over 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Living my masculine energy to its fullest, and now making that transition.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Christy's amazing. So Christy is a private coaching client. We've been working together since this summer. And so I've gotten to just know her well and fall in love with her, which you will when you get to know her, and everyone does who knows her. But so we met this past spring. Maybe share a little bit of like where you were before we connected, and
Yes.
what prompted you to want to jump in and be part of the community at a deeper level.
Absolutely. I was thinking about this as Elise had asked me to do this, and I really think that a lot of this, my coming to knowing myself, is more of a situation where I was in an identity gap. I had a very strong professional knowingness and very good at my job and loved sales. Again, I was abutting that kind of financial what do I want to call it, limit, because of limiting beliefs that I understood, but I had a very, very good career, some years much better than others. But going through this knowingness, I had this personal side of me that was really stuck in limiting beliefs and some unfortunate abusive relationships, which I was surrounding myself with folks that were also of that mindset, which then created this kind of unbalance in my life. And I would go to work and I would be this person that was told that, through my sales and through all my energies and activities, that I was great, to come back into my personal life where I was almost invisible. And I couldn't for the longest time figure that out. I was like, what is wrong? Like, what is going on here? And through a divorce and really going down the route of traditional therapy, left me in a position where I felt that I could understand where all of this came from, unpacked all the Pandora's box that flew wide open, but there were still pieces of me that were lingering. So when I met Elise, we were at a mastermind with a bunch of folks that are here on this call, and she spoke, and my mouth dropped, and I am like, I need this person. It was the first time I heard. She was talking about things that were just like mind blowing, because I would always say, and I don't say this anymore, but my big claim to fame was I was a man trapped in a woman's body.
We've stopped you saying that.
Always, right? I don't say that anymore. But it was me not having that feminine energy, and me just always going. And she just said, I'm sick of playing small. And I was like, I love her. And immediately we got back, I called, and that led into my first soiree with Elise, and I was called. So I knew this is what I had to be and what I wanted to do. And of course I can't just go in and dip my toe. I got to go in full force. And I just wanted Elise. I needed Elise. And so I went to become a private client. And it became where I really faced some limiting beliefs around scarcity of time, scarcity of money, in a weird way, because I thought I wasn't having money problems, relationship issues, but I was. And we worked through those prior to me even being a
Yeah.
and that is really what kind of brought me in. And then just really starting to dive into the messaging, it has absolutely changed my life. I was saying this morning on the 50K club is, there were things that were bothering me that Elise said, "You're giving your power away." And I'm like, oh my God, she's right. And I stopped. And with money and how I look at it now in the circulation, and I find myself now like always tipping higher, and always like I'm very grateful for the Instacart, and instead of like letting people say, why are you spending that much? Because my time is worth a lot more money than the 20 extra dollars that it's costing me to do the Instacart. And also in gratitude of just everything that is in my life. I'm just seeing things from the exact opposite. And I thank Elise and everybody in the community.
Yeah. Wow. Well, one of the things about you that I think is so beautiful is you are so coachable. And that's, to me, when I look at, clients who come in and they ascend and they quantum leap, they are open, they are coachable, they embody the material. They're like, yeah, they make it work with their life. So you're like, hey, I'm listening to the modules in the morning on the treadmill. Beautiful, right? I love that. I love that. Like, that's one of the beautiful parts of this program in the community is there's on-demand modules you can listen to anytime. And to see your shifts and your growth, and again, what a lot of people say is like a relatively short amount of time, has been so powerful. What are maybe one or two of the things that you would say are the biggest shifts? It can be a tangible thing, it can be a intangible, but just as you look at how you've grown and how you've ascended, what are you most proud of yourself for? What are some of the biggest things that stand out?
I really think it is just honing in on the fact that I'm the creator of my life. And I remember the day when I came to you after listening to, it was either you or Dr. Dispenza. And I said, do you remember when I opened the call and said, Elise, I think I'm playing victim. And just identifying these things that I knew there was something going on, but not able to put my finger on it until we sit and we talk and you read like from Neville Goddard and some of these things that have kind of gotten me down this beautiful rat hole of learning, finding that I just wish everyone could understand. And I wish I had this knowledge so much sooner. But I am just so grateful to have it now and to be able to share it. And it's just so powerful. Yeah. And the fact that we really are the creators of our own lives and our destinies.
Yes, absolutely. And to have that awareness, I mean, when anytime we give our power to something outside of us, right, we allow ourselves to be victim to it. And so for you to have that awareness and say, oh my gosh, I'm giving my power away, and to be able to self-identify, because people do it all the time and they don't realize, whether it's to someone else, whether it's to money, whether it's to life circumstances. So when you make that shift and you say, I am the creator of my life, that's it. That's the shift.
Yeah.
What would you say? Yeah, please go ahead.
Just the inner peace and the joy that I feel every day. I've never experienced anything like it. And I just protect it at all costs. I always say to the least, I never want to leave my woo-woo. Like I love it.
That's always how I know for clients when more money is on its way, is they make that shift and they say, oh my gosh, I feel, but even before the money comes, I feel better than I've felt in either a long time or ever in my life. I'm like, okay, we hit it. You're there. Then from that place, it's really cool to see the opportunities that come in, the money that comes in, the attraction. But people don't even talk about that as much. They're like, oh yeah, and there's a lot of opportunities, or there's this or that.
Right.
It's the feeling. It's actually the feeling state that you
Yeah.
remember and that you notice. That's the biggest thing.
And you know, something else that was interesting, things that I used to want, such as bags or shoes or things like that. Don't get me wrong, I love, but none of that matters anymore. It just like
Mhm.
nothing of that like is even crossing my mind. It's more of just being grateful and just wanting to give and wanting to help and wanting to make sure that everybody's taken care of and that they can get to this place. I just can't explain it. It's just such a great feeling.
Yeah. You are embodying abundance. That's it, right? Because when we are abundance, we actually don't want for anything. You are it.
Right.
You are all of it. And then, we expand from from that place in our lives. But it's been so beautiful to work with you and to see your journey. And I just know there's so much good coming too.
Thank
Um,
you.
what would you, final question, just to someone
Yep.
who wants to get involved in the community, who wants to have this type of shift, who wants to grow in abundance, and then also, internally as you have, what would you say to someone?
I would really say that the investment in yourself it's going to come back tenfold. And it is the most amazing gift that you can give yourself and everyone that you surround. And more importantly, I think that if you find yourself in a situation where your dreams and your mindset is not being like supported fully, coming into the community with this energy and understanding there's a lot of like-minded people that are willing to support and be there, it really helps you get that confidence and gain that understanding that then you can take back into the world and be very confident in who you are as a person. And so now, there are people that question you or say, what are you thinking? What are you doing? And it's like, you know what? It's just what I'm thinking. And I'm finding that I'm learning how to protect my energy and open up to the questions and not answer questions that I don't want to ask,
Mhm.
and answer. So I just feel that it's priceless. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but if you really are on the fence, I'm telling you, it is life changing. It really is.
Wow. We love you. I love
I love
you.
you
You're
more, Elise.
amazing. Thank you for hanging with me all day and coming to
Yes,
share your story.
I've got to listen to you tonight too. I got to do my homework.
Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Both of you, thank you so much for sharing your story, your transformation. And what I'll say to everyone listening is just whatever resonated with you about their story, pay attention to that, because that's a sign, that's a mirror, that's a green light, that's something that's available to you as well. That shift is available, that growth is available. And again, we help people make a lot more money. We love doing that. And right, it's actually a concept we teach called selling from wholeness, which means that the core foundation of everything you're doing in here is actually reconnecting with your wholeness, the wholeness of who you are, your inherent abundance, the fullness of who you are. And then from that place, we sell, we make money, we grow our businesses, but it's a very different model and a very different approach than I would say most people have done their entire life. And you will end up manifesting and creating far more money and far greater results. But the feeling state is actually what you'll notice the most. That will be the biggest thing that you probably remember and talk about. So let's do a visualization. I want to help connect you all with yesterday when we were speaking about who are you when you are abundance? Remember that? So we're going to kind of go back to that place. Who are you when you are abundance? So all of your needs are met and more. What is that grandest vision of your life? Who are you being? How are you feeling? How are you operating? So I'm just going to guide you all through just through visualization. I'm just going to channel whatever shows up for all of you. If you're driving, just listen, keep your eyes on the road. Okay. And if my team can just watch the waiting room to make sure people get in, because I'm going to have my eyes closed too. But let's do this. So coming into this moment and just anchoring in. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes, close your eyes. And taking a deep breath in, noticing how easily you're inhaling and circulating the air. And an exhale, noticing how easily you release whatever no longer serves. Another deep breath in, filling up your lungs all the way to the top. A deep breath out, fully releasing. And continuing that pattern with your breath, taking really big, deep breaths, those life-sustaining breaths, noticing that experience of circulation, noticing how easy it is, noticing that experience of flow, right? Noticing how you breathe in with non-fear, non-attachment, how you also exhale with non-fear and non-attachment. And noticing that no matter how much you breathe in or you exhale, there's always more. So tapping into that energy of circulation, of abundance, of flow, as you anchor your body, your nervous system, your mind, your soul into this present moment, remembering that everything in our lives is created twice. First in our mind, in our imagination, in the spiritual realm, and then we pull it into the 3D, into the physical world. So whatever it is that starts showing up for you as we tap into your highest self, your most abundant self, your multimillionaire, your multi-billionaire self, whatever that is, just knowing that, as Bob Proctor said, if you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hand. And so the fact that you can see it in your mind right now means it is already done, means it is a potential, means it is something that is possible for you, that you can tap into and that you can create an experience in your 3D world, in your reality. So taking that deep breath in, that life-sustaining breath, breathing it all the way in and releasing, anchoring into this moment, we start to open up to the grandest and highest vision of your life. So going to a place where you are your wealthiest self, all of your needs are met and more, right? You are abundance. You have embodied it. You have connected with it. It is done. It has happened. It's anchored in. It's your identity. And noticing from this place, who are you being? So start to notice and look around. Where are you? What environment are you in? What is your home like? Or what are your homes like? What kind of cars are you driving? What is that experience like? How are you traveling? How are you seeing the world? How are you having million-dollar experiences in your life every single day? Noticing that flow of abundance that's constantly circulating in your life, supporting your fullest expansion, your fullest expression. Because your greatest gift to the world and to others is you living that fullest expression. Remembering that you did not come here to play small, you did not come here to shrink, you did not come here to hold back, that you came here to play full out and to live your life at its fullest as your highest self. So noticing from this vantage point, who are you surrounded by? Take a look and see. Did family, team, an audience of people cheering for you? What is your impact on their life? How have things changed in their life because you chose to embody your wealthiest self, your most abundant self, your highest connection to God, your highest connection to source? What is the shift in their life because you chose to do that? And what is the ripple effect generationally because you chose to do that? And notice from this place, how are you feeling in your body? Feeling those feelings of gratitude, abundance, peace, love, joy, flow, knowingness, and taking a deep breath in to anchor in those feelings. Now, wherever you are, find a place where you can see your reflection, whether it's a mirror, whether it's a body of water, and take a moment to express gratitude to yourself. Gratitude that you said yes, gratitude that you decided to play full out, gratitude that you followed your instincts, that you followed your intuition, that you were willing to get out of your comfort zone in allowing that fullest version of you to come through, and giving yourself so much love in this moment for what you have manifested, what you have created. And remembering that as you expand, as you say yes, as you play full out, that you are continuously supported by yourself, by your higher power, by the universe, because that is the greatest gift that you can give both to yourself and to the world. So taking another breath in, feeling that fullest self-expression, that fullest abundance, that fullest embodiment of you in your most empowered form. Breathing it in, anchoring it into your cells, into your DNA. Remembering that it is already done. And so it is. And whenever you're ready, you can come back to this present moment, taking your time, bringing that feeling with you. It is so true that whatever shows up when you connect with the highest potential for your life from that energy, that is where you are meant to go, that is the green light. And what's beautiful is that it's actually already happened on another timeline. And so we can stop doubting it. We can stop questioning it. And instead, we allow ourselves to move towards it while it moves towards us as well. Yeah. If anyone wants to share anything that showed up for them with that in the chat, please do. My team and I love seeing what your vision is, what you're creating, what you're manifesting. And it's also really beautiful because other people get inspired as well, right? By how you are choosing to expand and by what you're calling in as well. So please feel free to share, but come back to that. Come back to that feeling. We speak a lot in our programs about leading with the feminine, which is actually leading with the vision and then letting the masculine action back it up and support it. But we want to always lead with that vision and follow the nudges. And then the key is to start acting in the physical world as that person. Shanna, a strange realization, being in the energy of my future self. I felt it throughout my body. It felt amazing. Yeah. Okay. Open my eyes and realized it was me. So here's the key. This is the key. And this is where people will do a visualization and then say, oh, but I don't know, I'm back in my world, right? And nothing's changing. So the key is you remember that everything in your physical world, from where you're living to where you're sitting to who's around you, it's a result of who you're being in the past. And so how you will manifest your greatest desires and dreams and vision is it's actually like you have one foot in the world you're in now, and then you have another foot in the vision. And we start to put more energy into and connect more energetically to the vision. We start going there and emotionalizing it every day. And we actually have a lot of beautiful trainings in the 10K curriculum on how to do that and how to connect with that. You start living from that reality, right? Who here has done this? Who's in the program? Who understands? It's like one foot in one world, one foot in another. You start living from that reality. And from that place, you start to draw opportunities, circumstances, resources to you, right? That are going to help you get there. You have to take action on them in your 3D. So, but it is, you're bridging into a new world. So the key is to stay there emotionally, energetically, to start investing more of your energy into that, and then to come back to that place as often as you need to throughout the day. Angela, an expansive house on Lake Michigan, room for everyone. You're all invited. I love that. We'll host a retreat there. Feeling free, intuition so present, so much gratitude. Yes, beautiful, beautiful. So it's there, right? So now it's like, okay, what's the next step towards that house? You start house searching, right? You go up there and visit, like truly this is how we do it. That's how it works. We're manifesting another home right now. It's exactly how I'm doing it. So beautiful. So I want to take a couple minutes here and share about how to go deeper in this work with us, if you would like to. We do have some really beautiful opportunities available, and there's actually things changing in our program starting November 1st. So I want to share with you what it looks like now, because there's some prices that are going up. There's some things that are shifting November 1st. So this is a beautiful time if you're feeling called and you want to be in the community and receive our support and have us pour into you, and you want to quantum leap with us. This is a really beautiful time to do it as well. So we have 2 programs that I want to speak to today that are currently open for enrollment. One is our signature program, the 10K Club. Who in here is a 10K clubber? You all are, we love you so much. This was the program that I launched, oh my gosh, almost 4 years ago. And it has actually evolved and grown so much over the course of the past 4 years. I launched it initially really specifically, like I'm going to help women break through 10K plus months. And that was the whole focus of the program. And what has been so beautiful, we still have many women coming in. I mean, you heard Karen share her story, and I'm not sure if she's on this call, but I got a LinkedIn message from someone else this morning who joined a couple of months ago. She's like, I'm just about to hit my first 10K month, which is so fun. So we celebrated it as a team. So we do have many members of our community still coming in with that as the goal. What I will say is my consciousness has grown so much since we first launched, and we have seen people come in and create such elevated abundance beyond there that I kind of think about it like you can use this program to really to create any dollar amount you desire. And if it's a 10K month, a 10K week, a 10K day, 10K hours, right? Whatever it is for you, the teachings you can apply towards whatever the vision is that you're looking to accomplish. But this program is, again, it's our signature group coaching program. There is an on-demand training suite that you receive immediately upon enrollment. This training suite is beautiful. It is comprehensive. It is in-depth. We didn't talk about it at this event, but we teach something called the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth. I actually reverse engineered my first quantum leap and reverse engineered how have other clients in our community had such incredible results in a short amount of time. And we teach this process again, called the 4 quadrants of quantum sales growth, where we teach you how to rewire your mind, your belief systems, your identity for anything you want. There's healing work in there. There's a lot of limiting belief shifting work in there. There's reprogramming work in there. And clients tell us, even just in the pre-work for the program, like so many shifts come just in those first initial modules. So much healing, money is manifested, relationships are healed. It's pretty powerful. We have a whole segment on modules on money. So think of what we've done the past, 2 days as like a taste test of what's in there. And even Laura on our team was sharing this, I don't know, I think yesterday, maybe on a call, about she went back and studied just one of the modules on money and was like, holy moly, like you could unpack that for hours. And just that one module is life changing. So, so much material in there to elevate your financial set point, to open up to receive the amount of money you desire, to release money limiting beliefs, to expand into abundance. Kat is saying, I used it to go from 3K to 32K in less than 90 days. Yes. Like, can we get an amen? Is it no sales experience, right? No sales experience, was a nurse, 3K to 32K in less than 90 days, close to first million in sales in 7 months with this material, right? So it is, and again, Kat is open, Kat is coachable, Kat studies this, she embodies this, right? So it's Kat doing the work, but the material is incredible. If you dive in and you use it, you will ascend, you will quantum leap. We have beautiful trainings on integrating masculine and feminine energy to quantum leap. So if anyone is on here and feeling depleted, burnt out, tired, like things are heavy, like you're having to work really hard towards your goals, you're way in your masculine energy right now, we're going to help you tap into feminine, which for another way you can think about feminine energy is flow state, right? So sometimes that phrase is a little more accessible, especially for the men on the call. So flow state, that feeling that you're in when it's like you hit the hole in one and it's just easy, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, everything I want is coming to me. So we help you tap into that. And then we have a ton of content. And I know because I was just going through it for our consultant certification curriculum on actual strategy. So we call this the method, the strategy to grow your sales in your business. Everything from we've got an incredible discovery call script that people have used to go from like a 5K month to making $30,000 in an hour in an afternoon, to building your brand visibility on podcasts, building your company leadership. So we do teach a lot of strategy in our program, but it's all layered on this foundation that we've been talking about these past 2 days of shifting your identity, your self-concept, like everything you heard Karen and Christy talk about. We want to layer the strategy on top of that. If someone on my team can put the link for 10K Club in the chat. So we've got the training modules. So that's just the training modules. You get those on demand immediately when you enroll. We have twice monthly large group calls that I lead those. And so in there, you can come in, receive coaching from me. We go deeper into the material. I teach new material on those as well. So you have access to that. We also recently have launched what we're calling implementation sessions. So twice a month, Laura, who's on our team, and Laura, I don't know if you can come on camera. If you can't, that's okay. But twice a month, Laura, who's on our team, leads implementation sessions for the women in the community, where we go deeper into all the material. So it's a beautiful, powerful group. She helps you embody it at a deeper level. We also, like I mentioned yesterday, we're launching a men's mastermind version of this. And so Brandon, if you want to raise your hand, you're leading up the men's mastermind. So we're going to have the same twice monthly calls for men on this material, because as a man, how do we tap into flow, right? It's different. How do we embody this material? There are nuances to this. There are differences to this as well. And so we wanted to create a space and a community where the men in the group could come in and learn this and discuss it from a man's perspective as well. So we have that rolling out. You get an event ticket to a live event. So those of you who here's been to a live event, like they're amazing, they're life-changing. You get an event ticket. That ticket alone is $3,000. If you buy it off the streets, you get a ticket included. What else? We have for the women in the group, we have a monthly corporate sales mastermind call, which I know if you show of hands who's in there, I know a number of you are in there too, just to help support women in corporate sales. And Laura leads those too. Am I missing anything? I feel like it's so much of a beautiful community on Facebook as well. But this program, this is heart, soul. You will transform, you will shift, you will elevate. You have lifetime access to the modules when you invest. So you will have lifetime access to those. And what's shifting about the program is it's currently a 12-month program. and it's 10K paid in full, or it's $1,000 a month on a payment plan. Starting November 1st, it is a 6-month program. So everyone who's already in, you're in for 12 months. You got it. You're good. Those of you who enroll now through the end of the month, you also have it for 12 months, which means you have access to the coaching calls with me. You have access to the calls with my team, et cetera. Starting November 1st, we are condensing it into 6 months, still the same investment. So it'll be 10K paid in full, or it'll be $2,000 a month for 6 months. So you want to get in, you want to be part of it. You want to have access for longer. If you want the payment plan, it's a lower monthly payment. This is the time to do it because that changes at the end of this month. Let's see here. Sandy, I looked on your website for upcoming events. Oh, we should have had the event from this past summer listed on there. So we did our events through the fall of this year. Our next event will be spring, summer of 2025, but you have a ticket to that when you come into the program. I just kind of decided nobody really wants to come to Maine in the winter. I mean, we can, but so we do them at a place that's beautiful. We do them at a time of year that's beautiful as well. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And your success advisor can help you too. So with all of this, so I'm going to share today what it looks like to work with us, how to go deeper, and then we'll share resources to either get yourself enrolled, or if you want to chat with your success advisor about it, they're here to help you too. So if you haven't connected yet with your success advisor, make sure you've got a call set for that as well. So that is 10K Club, which is beautiful. The other opportunity we have is our high-level mastermind, which is the 50K Club. So this is a very elite special group. Like I said earlier on the call, we just had a call this morning. It's an intimate group for women who are already at the 6-figure level, looking to go to multi-6 or 7. In this program, in this mastermind, you have a lot more access to me and the team. We meet more regularly. And the level of the women and the conversation, what I think is so powerful is it's a group of women unapologetically going for more in their lives and supporting each other in it. So nothing is too big, nothing is too audacious. We're going to help you manifest your dream life and your dream business. We're going to do it from more of the feminine energy, which is about allowing and receiving and spirituality and creating. And so it's really, really powerful. In that mastermind, you get everything in 10K. You also receive additional twice monthly calls with me. We bring in guest mentors to some of those. We have a group chat that we're on in between calls where you can connect. We support you. The women encourage each other, connect with each other there. You get an additional event day ticket with that one as well. And then you also have the calls, the training calls that come with that too. So that mastermind today, and as it has been for a bit now, is 28K paid in full, or 2,800 a month. Starting November 1st, it's going up to 35,000 paid in full, or 3,500 a month. So with that one, you do need to be either at 10K months or a 6-figure earner. But 10K is a beautiful place to start for everyone if it's speaking to you. Let me see. Oh, and thank you, Kat, for popping that in. Is there a progression period? 10K program has to be gone through before entering. No, we actually, we had several new members of the mastermind come in this week from an event I was speaking at where they just went straight into 50K. There is the qualifier that you need to be a 6-figure earner or making 10K a month to be in there. But if someone fits that, then yeah, absolutely. You can jump right in, which is really, really powerful. We are doing, and if anyone has questions on the programs too, you can type it in the chat, just like people are doing, or you can come off mute. What we are doing this month for everyone who's enrolling, again, you're getting 10K or 50K at their current rate. So I think that in and of itself is really powerful because everything is changing November 1st. But the other thing that we're doing is we have some beautiful bonuses for all of you. So I want to make sure that I get it all right. So hold on, I wrote them down. So I make sure I get it right. Okay. So for those of you who are investing in yourselves, getting yourselves in the community, in the programs, whether 10K, 50K, by end of day tomorrow, we have 2 what we're calling fast action bonuses. So one is we are hosting a paid workshop in November called The Art of Quantum Leaping. So this is going to be paid to the public. You will receive that. So it's a 2-hour, really cool workshop I'm going to be hosting called The Art of Quantum Leaping. And then we're also going to be hosting a wealth mastermind call in late November. We're firming up the date. I think I know what it's going to be, but a wealth mastermind call. You will receive that too. So that's through enrollment tomorrow, end of day. For those of you who enroll by Friday, you'll still get the wealth mastermind call. But the Art of Quantum Leaping workshop will not. And for all of our current clients, you'll get the wealth mastermind call too. So don't worry, you'll be invited to that too. We'll send you details on that as well. We do have a funding partner. So if you need some support, or I would say most clients use credit card or use the resources they have to get in, but we do also have a funding partner that you can connect with your success advisor about if you would like some support on how to get in or how to create the money for coaching. They do funding specifically for personal development, which is really, really cool. It doesn't touch your credit to find out what you qualify for. And they'll let you know within about, I think it's like 5 minutes. It's really, really fast. And then you can decide if you want to take advantage or not. So if there are questions on any of this, I'll open up for questions. I'll also open up for questions on anything that we talked about the past 2 days. If there's questions on money, questions on abundance, you can type it in the chat. You can raise your hand. Happy to speak to any and all of it. I think the biggest thing I would say is our mission and our heart and our intention with these programs and with what we have built and created as a collective here is to empower you to step into that fullest expression of you, right? The wealthiest, the most abundant, the most successful, the most happy, so that you can live your life and say at the end of it, holy crap, I went for it. Like, holy moly, that was amazing, right? And what's beautiful and powerful too is it doesn't have to take a long time to make a shift. It really doesn't. I mean, even just Kat, sharing her experience of 3K to 32K months in 90 days, right? Like that's what's so inspiring to me about this community and about everyone who's in here is they are doing things that a lot of people would say, that's not reasonable, that's not rational, that's not this, that's not that. But oh my gosh, you get in here, you start thinking differently, you remove limiting beliefs, you get in the energy of people who are also quantum leaping. It's incredible. Yeah. Jill, go ahead. I see your hand raised.
Figured I'd give other
Hi.
people a chance to raise their hand, but I do have a question because I just new, just so people know, I'm new into the 10K club, loving it. I am someone who's held on to limiting beliefs. Those who have known me, there's some people from the adult chair, many people from the adult chair program here who have known my story of holding on and negative thought loops and stuff. And so I just wanted to share a win and then a question.
Okay. Yeah.
So a win is not related to money, which then leads me to my question.
Yeah.
So my win, I am someone who, as a mom, like I have like had a vision for my life as a mom and our family and generational and those visions have come true. Like I like fully abundant in this space of motherhood and family and extension of family. So generate, like it's beautiful to the point where those who know me, I have held this shame connected to how I parented when I was younger and I didn't know better.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I had a daughter who could use some support. I had this moment that came in as like, oh, this could be connected to how you, and like, as soon as that came in, it went back out. So
beautiful.
I'm just telling this is like shifting in that way in like automatic. And I'm so excited for what it will do in the business side of things. So that comes to my business question is what have you noticed is that progression? So for me, like I've been having blocks around even visualizing. I've had a few different businesses that I've tried that haven't worked out the way I wanted. I know that the timing was not right. I understand, like I'm understanding my language, like these opportunities have been for me. And so then I'm here, like, but there feels like this, like hard to imagine, or maybe there's part of me that's preventing me from imagining this success in this space. Like, and I know there's coaches who are like just coming out of the coaching programs or have like, we have all that we need, right?
Yeah.
And yet it's like something's feels
So
blocked.
so clarifying question, is it, you can see it and you can imagine it, but then there's limiting beliefs that show up, or is it
No,
like
it's
you don't
not
feel like you
even
can see it?
really,
It's not clear.
it's not clear. And
Okay.
in some ways it's showing up as like, is this really aligned for me?
Okay.
Like, is this
Yeah.
really my path?
Yeah.
Right? Does that
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
sense? So it shows up in the, but I believe it is like my intuition showed like,
Awesome.
but yet it's like it would be a blank wall.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So here's what I would say is, whatever you're meant to do, right? And this is for you, Jill, this is also for everyone, right? Like I think people will get really caught up in like, I have to find my purpose and it has to be perfect and it has to be crystal clear, or else I'm doing something wrong or I'm not successful. What I do know is that every single person on this call has a strong purpose, has a calling, has something that you're going to do or create or be where you are like, man, I am in my full alignment. Like you just know it when you hit it. With that being said, let it be a progression. Like let it be a journey. I mean, I think back to my journey, even in coaching, and it's like, I think it was 2015, I launched my first coaching business and it was called, what was it called? Six Figure Sales Coaching. I think Brandon, you and I met like shortly thereafter, right? So it's been a minute and it was so different than what it is today. I launched that, like had some success with it, but it was, I was still like bumping up against a threshold, was still dealing with limiting beliefs, all of that. Pulled the thread for a long time, like had different partnerships, launched new things. I had a iteration for a while where I did coaching on like video confidence and mastery and built out a whole course and program around that. And even as I was doing it, I was like, I'm good at it. I'm teaching it. I don't feel like my soul is lit up on fire about it, but it was the next step. It was the next iteration. So what I would say with this is where you're going to get to tap into a bit more of the feminine and you're going to pull the thread. So you continue to lean into, no consequences, no limitations. What do I want? What would I desire if I could have it anyway? You keep asking those questions. You keep coming back to it. Let it be a progression. If it's not a light bulb moment, like we want, our brains want that, immediately I know what it is. That's not actually what life is about, right? It's about the progression. But with whatever clarity you have, you take the next step, right? You do the next thing and let it evolve. And I think the other thing I would say from a belief system standpoint is start affirming how much clarity you have, right? So if we want to actually get like to the root of what belief would I need to have in order to feel really clear on this. I'm a woman who has total clarity on what she wants. I'm a woman who has total clarity on her business. I'm a woman who's living her most expansive life in business. You start playing with that identity and affirming those beliefs, and then you'll start to experience that in your world, right? So notice if you're telling yourself a story of not being clear, and then start feeling into clarity. Where am I already clear? I'm clear as a mom, right? I know I'm a great mom. I feel clear there. Okay, what does that feel like in my body? All right, what would it be like? So I know what that's like. I understand clarity. Now I'm just going to start to play with that in a different realm. Let it unfold. Let it be a progression. Pull the thread, right? It's like we don't want to pull a rose open before it's ready to bloom. So there's something in you that's being created, something in you that's being prepared, and we don't receive opportunities we're not ready for yet. So sometimes when we're in those in between phases, we're being created, we're being prepared. So again, focus on, with as much clarity as you have, what's the next step, and then with as much clarity as I have, who is the woman who is successful, right? Like, let me just start to identify her and embody her. What are all the ways in which I'm already successful? And you start to play with that, and you start to lean into that, and you start to see all the ways you're already successful and clear. And then the path will continue. It'll start to feel more and more clear. Does that make sense?
It
explained
does.
it.
I
Yeah.
appreciate all this. There's a lot there. And I appreciate that where I'm bumping. And I just want, can I share my limiting belief?
Yeah, sure.
That I just, I don't have the right, I don't know the content. Like, I don't know what,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
the niche piece,
Okay. Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Like, I know once I figure that out, so there's some stuff around that. There's like, I
Okay.
feel, you know,
Yeah.
gut,
Yeah. Yeah.
junky.
Absolutely. So I'll say a couple of things around that. In general, so my friend Rory, who Rory Vaden founded a company called Brand Builders Group, used to work with him there. He says you are most powerfully positioned to serve the person you used to be. So when you are coach, consultant, trainer, speaker, any of that, generally, not always, but generally, you are going to be most powerfully positioned to serve someone who is struggling with things you used to struggle with. So that can provide some clarity. We also have trainings in 10K. You may not have gotten into
there
it yet, but about under method around
Okay.
actually like building out your niche and connecting with it. So that's all under the method section. So maybe start diving into that more. And I think that'll give you even more clarity. Again, there's so much in there from a marketing, branding perspective. So I would spend a little bit of time there. And then
Yeah,
I can
so
also
I've
work
been
with you on the
in the
calls.
first module, and
Mhm.
you're suggesting then like kind of bounce. And I'm
Yeah, yeah,
asking
yeah.
this so that other people hear this too, right? Like so that
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
bounce
So
around a little bit to what I'm feeling this draw to want more support
totally.
around this. So I bounce into that and see.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Go where you feel called. There's trainings and modules on there on everything, right? Mindset, belief systems, money, time. If anyone in here, I know we talked yesterday a little about time scarcity. If anyone wants to learn, if anyone wants to learn how to expand time and have it work differently for you, there's trainings on that. We do, to what Jill is saying, we do have some pre-work that we recommend people go through at the start to help really lay the foundation. It'll help you with goal setting and visioning and embody. It'll help you heal. There's a lot. But this is a self-paced program and you go where you need to go in it. You go where you feel called. So under the methods section, there's powerful, incredible training on business growth, marketing, business strategy, sales, all of it. So go there. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
It's
there.
all available to
Thank
you.
you. I
Yeah,
appreciate this.
exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. Let me just check here in the chat. And if anyone else has a question on the programs, on what's happening this month, what's changing next month, you can raise your hand. This is a great time to get your questions answered. But let me see what Laura shared in the chat. So relatable. What helped me yesterday was when Elise had me change my language, going from it's hard for me to know what I want to I have clarity on what I want. Yeah, absolutely. Just notice the stories you're telling yourself where you're saying it's hard or I don't have clarity and change it, shift it. Frank, do you want to come off mute and ask your question? Or do you want me to just speak to it from what you said in the chat? I'm clear on what I want. I just lack clarity on how to get there. I don't know if you can come off mute. I know you had your little with you. Okay, I'm going to speak to it. And if you want to come off mute, then that is fine. There's a couple of things that I would say there. So number one, you're clear on what you want. Awesome. I want you to remember what I said earlier. The how of getting there is to decide. So even yesterday, when you were mentioning that your goal felt big, there's what I picked up on from that was that there's part of you that hasn't fully decided yet that that's your reality, that you're claiming that that's for you, even just in asking the question. Oh, good, you're on camera.
Yep.
Do you want to come off mute and we can talk through it a little bit?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's basically, yeah, no, I mean, what I said, I do lack the clarity on what on the how. You know, what you just mentioned is pretty accurate. I still am unsure on what exactly I'm going to do. You know, have pretty high goals, but you know, in complete transparency, like, you know, and if Christy's on the call, she can attest to this. Like, I was just let go of a job. So it's very difficult to have this abundancy mindset when you're sitting here unemployed, you know, just chilling with the little one, you know,
Okay.
which is good, but I'm also in kind of like the valley of despair. I don't know if people can relate to that, but it's really just like, oh God, what do I do now?
Okay.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm probably going off on a tangent here, but that's just, I'm lacking the clarity on what I want to do, mainly because like, well, what if what I'm doing right now isn't working? I'm all for abundance and all of this, absolutely, but it's just, am I taking the am I taking the incorrect road? And maybe I should,
Mm.
take another road and find the
Mhm.
abundance on that road.
Uh-huh. Yeah. 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 Great
That's my whole
question.
thing.
Okay. So, so a couple of things. So one, shift the perspective on what just happened, right? So I
Hmm.
would really encourage you to use the language of, I just released a job that was no longer aligned. Okay. So not
No, it
let go of
wasn't
a
aligned
job.
at all.
There you go.
I'd want to kill my manager, honestly. Like I
Okay.
still hold true resentment towards my
Okay.
manager. I
There you
want nothing
go.
but bad things for that guy. Sorry, I'm
So,
just venting.
yep, that's okay. So, we're not going to spiritual bypass. We're going to process the emotions that come up, right? So, whatever emotions that come up, you're going to let them come. You're going to feel them, right? But
Mhm.
the key with that is to not get stuck in them and to also notice the story you're telling yourself. So, I was just released from a job that is really not aligned. I'm very aware, right?
Mhm.
And right now in this moment, right? When we can get to gratitude, and again, like if you don't get there today, it's okay. If it takes a
Mhm.
couple of weeks, it's okay. So I'm not telling you to try to force anything that doesn't feel natural.
Right.
But when you can get to the point where you can say, okay, I'm in this moment getting to sit with my child, right? I'm here in this moment. What can I
Mhm.
acknowledge that's good? I've just created space where something was consuming space and consuming my energy that really wasn't aligned. Now, another universal law, and we actually teach all these laws in the trainings and the material, vacuum law of prosperity. This law means that the universe abhors a vacuum. If we want to call in, let's say you're in a corporate job and it really doesn't
Mhm.
feel aligned, but
Mhm.
you're like, I want something else, right? But you're holding on to what you have. You're clinging to it. You're like, oh, it's the only way I'm making money, blah, blah, blah. We're making it source. From that place, there's not space for something new to come in. So,
Yeah.
what's actually just happened for you is really powerful. There is now a vacuum. There is now a space that needs to be filled, that gets to be filled in your life. But the
Mhm.
key is we want to be trading always something of a lower nature for something of a higher nature. So now you're going to go in this moment, all of my needs are met, right? In this moment,
Mhm.
all of my needs are met. I'm going to acknowledge, like, okay, paycheck isn't what it I had a paycheck. Don't see that right now. That's okay. But in this moment, all of my needs are met. From this place, what do
Mhm.
I want to create next? So, Christy spoke earlier about being the creator of
Mhm.
your life. You now have an opportunity to create. So, you start
I
to
do.
get clear on what it is that you want, right? Whether it's
Mhm.
working at a company, whether it's launching your own business, you start
Mhm.
to define that. You start to write that out. What are the attributes? What are the qualities? How much do I want to make? What did I learn from the last experience that I know I want to
Mhm.
have different in this one? Right.
Right.
So
Right.
it's just contrast helping you define what you really want. And you start moving into that and you start connecting with that visualization, meditation. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But then from that place, you stay open to opportunities that come, and you also are going to move your body in the
Mhm.
3D towards what you want as well. So the how, I want to go back to your question on the how.
Mhm.
Um, you do not need to know the how. This is really important. You don't need to know the how. And I know you all have been taught you need to know the how for any goal that you have. You don't need to know the how. I never really know the how of what I'm doing. I just know that I want something. I know where I want to go. And you follow and you take the next step. What's the next step I can take towards it? People who are really moving in the world, who are really making big impact, none of them know the how of what they're doing. The only things you know how to do are the things you've already done. So connect with the vision. You know what you want. Awesome. All right.
Mhm.
Who do you get to be at that level? Who is the version of Frank who has that? You start focusing on being him, manifest him,
Mhm.
and then you take the next step. Pay attention to the opportunities that come through. Pay attention to the people you meet and connect with. That's how you're going to do it. That's how you, oh my gosh. And you're going to look back and say, thank you so much for this extra time I got to spend. Daughter, right? Did you say
Daughter, yep.
daughter? How old is she?
7 months.
7 months. Thank you
Yep.
so much for this extra time I got to spend with my daughter. What a
Yep.
blessing.
Yep.
Because when you're back at work and doing the thing, you're going to be like, man, I'd love to be holding her right now.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I'm
Yeah.
definitely grateful for that.
Yeah,
You're welcome, Kathy.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks, Liz.
Absolutely. Yeah. My pleasure. This is so good. So powerful. Thank you all for the time, for being here. For those of you who are here live, for those of you who are watching the replay, we love you. You're amazing. Just remembering that abundance is infinite. It is there for you. It's there. It's available on demand. It's there now. And it really is about connecting with it from the inside out, and use what we spoke about these past 2 days to do it. If you feel called, we would love to support you in the community on a deeper level, for you to have access to this support, this training, this community, not just for a 2-day period, but every single day on demand, and just thinking about how much would my life change if I was in this all the time. And if I had a team supporting me in this as well. So I think to kind of round out what Karen shared, you are worthy of investing in, you are worthy of getting yourself in the room, getting yourself support, and we are here to help support you. So connect with your success advisor, have a conversation with them. They're here to help you. We love you. You're amazing. I cannot wait to see many of you inside the program. And thank you again for being here with us. Mwah.